One day the sky becomes crimson red. It's a sign of the beginning of the end. The apocalypse shocked face with eyes filled with fear and terror without a single warning gate appearing in the sky. Then the monsters came out bringing the chaos with them. Hopelessly scientists trying their best to figure out what happened without any clue. The only thing they found is a world parallel to Earth that exists across the universe. Something happened on that planet that caused an explosion, and that planet was torn to pieces. That pieces become a meteor, and as a result, what was left of that planet started flying towards the Earth. Parts of the Earth started to fuse with these pieces. Because of this, new changes occurred. That accident was called the adhesion phenomenon. That how unusual the laws of nature and monsters were introduced to Earth. With that, 17% of the Earth was affected, and humans lost control over the land. A soul soldier was hiding in the danger zone and for the first time in his life has ever encountered a monster. Realizing the difference between humans and monsters. With time, the danger zone was named Dungeons. The soldier was looking from far away, hoping to not notice him. But unfortunately, he notices his presence. The soldier starts firing like crazy, hoping to land just on hit. Even that didn't stop the monster dash because his skin is bulletproof. With just one punch in the stomach, he throws him far into the wall, without any time to prepare for these monsters. Humans as a species, they couldn't do anything. However, that is not the end. There is still a ray of hope. Humans still were fortunate. The Earth is not the only one who changed. Step by step, humans began to change to break the natural limits and start to be reborn. Start to awaken their abilities. Even if this phenomenon has affected all humans on Earth. The abilities were different for everyone. The chosen few decided to train for it to find their potential and abilities. All that to regain control over the dungeons. A special people working for a sole reason, and that is how adventurers were born in the era of dungeons. Our main character is a boy named Jaryong. Jaryong studies in a school for normal students, because he can't afford it, and also because of his need to take care of his sick father. He works every day to pay for his father's medicine and hospital. He didn't work a normal job. In reality, he was a raiding dungeon illegally. The client was looking down on Jaryong because of how he looked. Jaryong didn't like what they did, so he started to provoke the big guy into a fight.
Make sure to click on subscribe and notification buttons for more recap. The client is losing it about this fight, and he's warning his business partner about the dangerous temper of the retired fighter. And let me tell you, this fighter wasn't forced into retirement because of injuries. It was because he assaulted his teammates. The client is adamant that this fighter will not go easy on his opponent just because he's young. He's predicting a brutal beatdown that could even end up fatal. But then Jaryong starts making fun of the retired fighter's past, and the big man doesn't even realize it. He's so caught up in his ego that he starts bragging about how he disposed of trash in the past. Of course, Jaryong makes fun of Lee Pil-gyu again, saying he is one of the trash he talked about to his face. Lee Pil-gyu, without a second thought, throws a punch right at Jaryong's face. But to his surprise, Jaryong dodges it effortlessly. Of course, the big man isn't one to back down, so he throws another punch. But as soon as the young smuggler sprang into action, Lee's confidence began to falter. The speed and precision of his movements were unlike anything he had ever seen before, and when the kick came hurtling towards his chin, Lee was caught completely off guard. At that moment, Lee realized that he had grossly underestimated his opponent. The young smuggler's reflexes and the sheer force behind his kick were on par with that of a seasoned professional. It was a humbling experience for Lee, and he knew that he was in for a serious fight. In a fit of rage, the big man tore off his shirt, revealing his massive muscles. He glared menacingly at Jaryong, and with a voice dripping with venom, he declared that no matter what cheap tricks the young smuggler tried to use, he would always be scum in his eyes. The big man then vowed to teach Jaryong a lesson, to show him what a real adventure looks like. He was a tanker, and with a surge of energy, he activated his skill, and in an instant, everything changed. His muscles bulged, and his movements became faster and more precise. As the power coursed through his veins, he felt an overwhelming sense of strength, more than what he had. The transformation was remarkable, as his entire body seemed to glow with an otherworldly aura. It was a sight to behold, as he charged headlong into battle, leaving a trail of destruction in his wake. His opponents could only dodge. As the battle raged on, Jaryong knew he needed to stay fully focused to avoid getting hit by Lee Pil-gyu's devastating punches. With just a simple punch, Lee Pil-gyu made a hole in the wall, his mocking face asking Jaryong why he wasn't using his cheap tricks like before. But Jaryong was no fool, and he had no intention of falling into any traps. When his boss urged him to finish the fight quickly to avoid further damage, Jaryong knew he had to act fast. Lee Pil-gyu reminded him that his cheap tricks wouldn't be enough to pierce the techniques of a pro. But Jaryong remained unfazed, picking up a metal rod and confidently saying, "This should be good enough." In the eyes of the public, tanks were unbeatable beings, impervious to harm, but they had a clear weakness, a natural enemy capable of focusing a powerful destructive force in a single point. A skilled damage dealer would have no problem breaking through the protective barrier that Lee Pil-gyu presented. And with one swift strike, Jaryong proved just that. Lee Pil-gyu was left on the ground, on the brink of losing consciousness. Before he slipped away, he asked Jaryong where he had learned to swing like that. Jaryong played dumb, telling him he was mistaken. But in reality, he had learned the technique from his own father. It was a hard-won victory, but Jaryong had emerged victorious, his skills as a fighter once again proven.